get an essential oil, if it's not in a dark colored bottle like a deep brown, or like you have over here, I have a blue or what have you, you don't want that because it's too susceptible to sunlight, heat, or what have you. So you want something that's going to detract from that. You want something that's going to, you know, not where it's not going to absorb all that heat and sunlight.
So there's a shelf life to oils?
Actually, when we talk about the shelf life of oils, we're not really talking about the shelf life of the essential oils, because the essential oils, if they're stored properly, now if you kept this oil like this tea tree oil, if you kept it in like a dark, cool place, it could last you for several years. Okay. But when you put it in a carrier and mix it like we're going to do later, that's when we talk about the shelf life, we're actually talking about the shelf life of the carrier. Okay. And not the essential oil itself, because the essential oil could last for a very long time if you take care of it properly, if you store it properly. But it's the carrier oil that is really the focus when we're talking about the shelf, because these oils don't last too long.
Can we demonstrate?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to make one of my favorite. Is lavender. Of course, I have some peppermint and some tea tree oil here too. Now, tea tree. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to mix some tea tree oil with the lavender, because that is a great antiseptic. Tea tree is very antiseptic. So if you get like a sting, a bite, a cut, a burn, it'll help to heal very quickly, and so is lavender. Actually, the term aromatherapy was coined by a French chemist. His name was Dr. Maurice Gattefossé. And he actually, there was an accident that he experienced in his lab. He was doing something in the lab and he got burned. And he soaked his hands in lavender essential oil, and he noticed how quickly his hands healed. Wow. And therefore, he coined the term aromatherapy, because from the therapy of that oil, the burn on his hands healed very quickly. And so it began, and the term was just coined back in the last century. The 20th century is like in the late to early, maybe 1920s to early 1930s.
Can you show us how you mix it?
Yep. So I'm just going to put some jojoba oil in this bottle. Now, just like I said, for those of you who are serious about maybe getting a remedy, this is about a 1 ounce bottle, getting a remedy for whatever ails you. You want to see a licensed clinical aromatherapist, okay? Because they'll know exactly the measurements to mix.
What would you suggest? So you're pouring majority, like what, 90 to 10%
of the oil
of that bottle to the essential oil?
Yeah, it's probably like one to two. So you got about an ounce here. So I'm probably going to put about 8 drops of the oil in and mix it in with this. So first I'm going to use my lavender, and this will be a good, smell that, ladies.
That's interesting.
I love it. Huh. Love it.
Yep. So I'm going to put about.
Stronger than what you buy.
Yeah, it is strong.
Lotions and that kind of thing. You can tell it's
concentrated.
The real thing. Right. Now, Stephanie, what else would you recommend for stuffy nose? I mean, we're about to enter that season of colds and flus. Besides, of course, we talked about menthol. But I know Leela's going to use her menthol all day. But do you have any other that you might recommend for stuffy nose?
Peppermint.
Peppermint.
Exactly. Because as we said earlier, the peppermint has the menthol in it. Now, there are different ways to experience aromatherapy and essential oils. You can either do it through a diffuser. Sometimes you apply it right on the body. It depends on what the condition is. For stuffy nose, we recommend putting in a diffuser or a steam vaporizer. Right. Okay. Just get a steam vaporizer, drop a few, drops in there, and let that just sit in the room or what have you. Or if you don't have a steam diffuser, just get a bowl or a pot of hot water while it's boiling, put a towel over your head, drop a couple of drops of the peppermint on it, and just inhale it.
Doesn't peppermint also energize you?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Right. And peppermint will also pick you up.
Peppermint is very energizing. That's why it's really not recommended that you do that. If you're trying to calm down, don't use peppermint when you're trying to go sleep necessarily.
Now, I have lemon here. I mean, lavender here. I have lemon here too. And I want to know if that still smells as strong as the one that you just purchased. Because
now you tell me.
I've had mine for 2 years. I just smelled it, and I'm thinking yours may still be a little stronger, but
you tell me.
Very close.
No, this is definitely stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had mine for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, of course, they were in my drawer. And, I haven't really used them much because I was going to try to make perfume, which you can do that too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You can make your own perfume.
Oh, yeah.
And you can also use it in household cleaning.
Lemon is good for, it's astringent, it's antibacterial, it's antiseptic.
And you just drop it in the water.
You can drop it in the water. You can put it however you want to use it. Yep, you can put it, yes, you can.
Okay, great.
And since you're putting it on a hard surface and not yourself, you could use, lemon essential oil straight. because you're not putting it on the body. So if you just put it on a rag and just wipe the surface, or you can mix it with, with a carrier like water. You said maybe distilled water, something like that.
Well, this was great, Stephanie. I mean, I can't believe we're running out of time already.
I know, this was so fast.
Faster and faster. But this is great. If you want more information, please email us at lifematters@gmail.com. But we also want to let you know that even though aromatherapy can help with a lot of different ailments, it's definitely not a substitute for seeking your doctor's medical treatment.
Good point.
This is
Absolutely.
an alternative to that.
Absolutely.
So still go to your doctor and seek out a doctor, but this might be something you want to use in addition to, and just see how it works for you. But you have so many different recipes. Go online and check it out. Our next segment, we're going to talk male and female relationships with Stan Stewart. Stick around for that.
Well, hello and welcome back to our show. We hope you enjoyed that segment about clinical aromatherapy and hope you got some good takeaways from that. Now we're getting ready to take it up another notch here. We're going to talk about relationships, and we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Stan Stewart. And Mr. Stewart can best be described as a Renaissance man. Stan is a motivational speaker, an actor, and a poet, and you're going to sample some of his poetry later on in the show. But let me read a little bit about Stan here. Stan has performed on television programs and movies such as HBO's The Wire, NBC's Homicide: Life on the Streets, and the HBO movie Something the Lord Made. Most recently, he published his first book of poetry, and Stan currently works for the federal government and is a former co-worker of both Julie and Leela here. And today, Stan is going to dialogue with us about relationships. This is going to be great. Yes. So Stan, relationships. When you hear that word, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the program.
Absolutely.
I do appreciate it. And I offer a disclaimer that these are my perspectives and my opinions, so they're not generally what everybody thinks.
Okay.
But I think in terms of when I hear relationships, I think about how we're understanding one another on several levels, whether it be a friendship, whether it be a relationship between a man and a woman or a couple, and how we are doing things to encourage making sure that each party in a relationship is loved and respected, protected, and appreciated.
Okay.
And that's how I think about relationships.
That's great. I think that's a good definition. I think that's a definition a lot of us probably, have adopted. Another question for you. You're married, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So when you first met your wife, what attracted you to her? What's making it work?
Oh, how many years?
And
how long has
in
it
a
been?
family and all that.
That's right.
Yes. We've been married 16 years.
Oh,
Yay. Congratulations.
And, thank you. And we have 4 lovely daughters. So I'm the only man in a house full of women.
Yeah, you love that.
I love it because I always want to be healthy, wealthy, and wise and surrounded by beautiful ladies.
Yeah.
I'm still surrounded by beautiful ladies.
There you go.
Yay.
Oh, isn't that nice?
What attracted me to her was literally when I walked in the room and saw her, I knew that she was the person that I was going to marry.
You knew that she's going to be the person you're going to marry?
I knew that no matter, unless she was married, I was going to marry her.
Wow.
If she was engaged, the brother was going to be out of luck.
Okay.
But unless she was married, I was going to marry her because when I saw her, as soon as I saw her, I knew.
You say, so as soon as you saw her, was something, I mean, you see a person, okay, that's the visual image, but what happened in here that made you think that?
Well, I think what it is that we always have an idea of what we seek in a partner, what we seek in a relationship. And I think on a subconscious level, that's always there inside of us. And when you are presented with the personification of that, intuitively you know. It's very similar to with ladies. When you meet a guy, there's a decision of where the relationship could go or where the relationship cannot go.
Right.
And I think men to a certain degree, a much lower degree, have that intuitive ability. Because when I saw her, I thought to myself, wow. And I was kind of upset because I didn't feel like I was dressed to meet the lady I was going to marry. I had on a t-shirt and shorts and I was sweaty from walking up 6 flights of steps. So I was mad that I wasn't ready when I met her. But I knew that when I first saw her, this is the lady.
So you worked at getting her.
Oh, I worked very hard.
And you worked at keeping her.
I continue to work at keeping her
that's
because
right.
you have to continue to woo a lady. You have to continue to try to discover different things about her. And every time you're trying to discover, you have to explore. And if you are exploring and you're discovering, then you constantly are showing her that you're attentive to her needs, you're interested in where she's coming from.